From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
An Indianapolis mother is preparing to take her message to the national level as she prepares to speak at the Democratic National Convention. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Deandra Dykes knows firsthand the effect gun violence can have on a family and community after her son became a victim. Now the Purpose for My Pain founder and mother is bringing attention to the issue and the need for policy change.
I'm the mother who will never shut up. And that's just what it is.
Now Deandra Dykes is taking her message about gun violence to a new stage.
I have been asked to be a gun violence survivor speaker for the Democratic National Convention that is coming next week.
WRTV has talked with Dykes many times about her organization, Purpose for My Pain, a nonprofit born after her son was shot at a birthday party.
Honored to be the voice of those whose lives have been forever impacted by gun violence, and just really grateful for this type of platform.
The Democratic National Convention kicks off tomorrow in Milwaukee.
We need people to know that gun violence is real.
She says gun violence is getting out of hand in Indianapolis and across the nation.
We can talk until we're blue in the face, but if you're not being boots on the ground, if you're not advocating for legislative change, then it's all null and void. And so with this new administration coming in, we're looking for policy change.
Her son survived the shooting, but things have never been the same.
I say that I am honoring Dre's fight for survival. And I made him that promise, and I'm just standing on my word to my son. But beyond that, this is so much bigger than me and Dre.
She doesn't plan on being quiet on the gun violence issue anytime soon, especially during the convention. She plans on saving and changing lives to make sure no one else has to stand in her shoes. Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. And we asked Dykes how she was chosen to speak at the convention. She says organizers found her through every town for gun safety. This update just in. Metro Police have located a missing 5-year-old boy, and they say he is safe tonight. As we first reported last night at 11, police had been looking for Amir Washington since Saturday afternoon when he went missing along with a woman named LaQuisha Green, who has no custodial rights to the boy. That is all the information police are releasing right now. But again, 5-year-old Amir Washington has been found safe. 3 people are dead after a vehicle drove into Lake Monroe late Saturday. Witnesses reported seeing a vehicle drive down the Paintown State Recreation Area boat ramp and enter the water around 10:30 last night. Investigators say the driver called out for help and attempted to get out of the vehicle. Witnesses were not able to rescue the passengers before the vehicle became submerged. The victims are an adult male and female and a male child. Their names have not been released. We are now 1 week away from Indy 500 race day. This afternoon saw the fastest drivers in the field make a run for the pole position, and one of Indy's famous names came out on top. Dave First joins us live now from IMS with a recap.
Thank you, Dave First and Tony KANAAN. Wait a minute. No, Tony's not here yet. These guys just wrapped up one of the final practices before next week's Indianapolis 500. Remember, it's a week from today. In fact, the checkered flag will probably be waving about this time 1 week from now. So TK's literally just hopped out of the car. We hope to hear from him before we're all said and done here in this half hour. But take a look at what happened in qualifying. It all came down to the fastest guy yesterday. Remember the top 9 yesterday in qualifying advanced to today's Fast 9 round, and all Marco Andretti had to do was knock off a guy by the name of Scott Dixon, former Indy 500 champion, a 5-time series champion. Dixon had a 231.051 4-lap average in his qualifying effort, and Marco Andretti, I'm telling you, he literally hung it out there, did everything, he kept it on the floor. And yes, indeed, Marco Andretti, 33 years old, comes up with his first Indianapolis 500 pole, 231.068 4-lap average, becoming the first Andretti to win the 500 poles since Granddad Mario did it back in 1987. The celebration is on. A big scene and a big moment for Andretti Autosport.
Lap 1 was good. Lap 2 started giving me the hint that 3 and 4 were going to be tough. So I was sliding definitely more than Scotty looked like he was sliding. So, yeah, I had to work there, and especially the last lap. I knew it was going to be interesting. I knew it was going to be close, too, because I was watching the speeds, and I knew what he ran. So the luxury of going last is you kind of know the benchmark, right? So luckily we were just on the better end of that.
And congratulations to Marco Andretti. What a performance this afternoon. He only had 5 IndyCar Series poles in his career. 1 front row start at the Indianapolis 500. He got it done today, winning pole, as mentioned, with the first Andretti to do so since 1987 when Mario did it. Scott Dixon will start second. He's settled for P2. And Takuma Sato. No one expected Sato to be in the front row, and that's where he'll start a week from today. A lot of other storylines as well, including Tony Kanaan's day. We'll talk about TK's day and so much more coming up in our usual WRTV Trackside Report. For now, though, day first, Tony's coming. Trust me. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Dave, thank you so much. Well, as we count down to the 104th running of the Indy 500, fans are adapting their plans this year because of the pandemic. For the first time ever in the 109-year history of the race, the grandstands will be empty at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The decision made due to escalating concerns over the coronavirus pandemic in Marion County. So we wanted to find out what fans are planning to do instead, since they won't be in the track this year. We talked to people today who are spending their time in Speedway on pole day.
When we first pulled up, it was a little heartbreaking because we could hear the noise and we could hear the excitement inside, and that's where we truly want to be, but we appreciate the situation and just getting out here to hear it.
So we came out to buy some souvenirs and get a good smell of the air with the fuel in it.
The 104th running of the Indy 500 is a week from today, next Sunday, August 23rd at 1 p.m. And Kyle, what a beautiful day they had to spend out in the Speedway area today.
Yeah, we're hoping to have some great weather like this next Sunday as we get ready for race day. We had a front that moved through the area earlier today. That's now in Ohio and taken any threat of rain along with it. Our skies are clear out there and temperatures a little more comfortable this afternoon. We're in the lower half of the 80s. Has been a little bit of a breezy day. Those winds out of the north around 10 to 15 miles per hour. And those will begin to subside here as we get to sunset. Also falling is going to be that temperature. We'll go from around 80 degrees here at 7 o'clock into the lower 70s by 10 and upper 60s at midnight. We'll look ahead to rain chances in your Monday forecast in a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. Continuing our coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana, the state health department reports 3 more COVID-19 deaths. 2,924 Hoosiers have now died from the coronavirus. More than 80,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 906,000 people have been tested in Indiana, with 8.9% testing positive. Tonight, a mother on the southwest side wants to know why a school zone sign put up after a WRTV story is now missing. Last August, we told you about safety concerns near Stoutfield Elementary School. The school is located on the corner of Sam Jones Expressway and Holt Road, which are 2 very busy roads in this area. Following our story, the Department of Public Works added 2 new 25-mile-per-hour school zone signs along Holt Road. But now, one is missing. So we followed back up with the city. A DPW spokeswoman says the sign was not removed, but they have had to repair or replace the signs a few times because they were either stolen or hit. After notifying them that one is missing again, they do plan to replace the sign on Holt Road in the next couple of weeks. COVID-19 is causing events to get canceled or postponed, creating a challenging time for nonprofit agencies that rely on events to raise money to serve our community. The Walking for Dreams 2020 event was held today on the canal in downtown Indianapolis. The Family and Pet Walk was created 16 years ago to help nonprofit agencies raise money. The Sycamore Foundation covers all the costs of putting on the event, and then the nonprofits recruit walkers who donate money to their organizations. Normally, 1,000 walkers take part and help raise over $150,000. But this year, only 200 took part in person, the rest virtually, and they expect to raise about $50,000.
The $50,000 that we'll raise this year is very needed by the agencies. We were supposed to do Walking for Dreams in May, but we had to postpone it, and the agencies wanted to do something to keep in touch with their donors to raise as much money as they could.
I think in these times, all nonprofits are struggling again for money, and so even small amounts that they can raise with less participation is such a priority for them to keep their missions moving forward.
The donation option continues for the next week on walkingfordreams.org, or you can always go directly to a nonprofit's website to donate. Organizers say donations right now are critical because nonprofits are trying to do more with less money during the pandemic. While the Democratic convention is definitely a focus in the political world this week, there's a lot of buzz about the Postal Service. Will mail-in voting problems compromise the election? The latest on that debate straight ahead. As we mentioned earlier, the first live stream socially distanced Democratic National Convention kicks off Monday in Milwaukee. Meantime, the battle over mail-in ballots intensifies as both sides argue the role the U.S. Postal Service plays in the upcoming election is pivotal. ABC's Megan Tevrazian is in San Diego now with the latest.
Today, the battle over mail-in voting escalating.
I am deeply, deeply concerned about Trump's effort to undermine American democracy by defunding the Postal Service.
They're trying to change the rules and try to institute something that normally takes 5 to 10 years to put in place and rush it through. And universal mail-in voting has been a disaster.
At the center of the debate, the U.S. Postal Service and Louis DeJoy, a GOP mega donor and the newly appointed Postmaster General. DeJoy's recent restructuring of the post office prompting protests outside his house over the weekend. DeJoy is under fire for cost-cutting measures months before the 2020 election, while states are bracing for a record number of mail-in ballots. The Trump administration warning mail-in voting problems could compromise the vote. But Democrats argue it's necessary in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, and that claims of voter fraud are unsubstantiated.
But there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud. There's no evidence that there's not either.
President Trump now threatening to cut additional funding the post office says it needs to handle the surge in mail-in ballots.
Universal mail-in voting is going to be catastrophic. It's going to make our country a laughingstock all over the world.
But one of Trump's campaign spokespeople this morning suggesting that funding may happen if Democrats agree to his coronavirus relief bill.
He said, yes, he is willing to make that deal.
But after weeks of negotiations, talks are at a standstill. Megan Tevrazian, ABC News, San Diego.
All right, want to take you back to just before 11 o'clock last night, and you can see a couple of things happening there over the city, part of the Perseid meteor shower. Saw a few of those, again, just before 11 o'clock. That technically has peaked already, and you might see a couple more out there tonight. Worth at least stepping outside and getting a peek there. At least we've got some nice clear skies for it. Our temperature 82 degrees in Indianapolis. We got 83 with sunshine in Kokomo, and same for you in Bloomington with that north to northwest breeze around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight's going to be a little more comfortable with those clear skies, less humidity in the air. Temperatures will settle back into the lower half of the 60s. 62 in Lafayette, 63 in the city, and 61 in Columbus. Temperatures tomorrow will warm back into the lower and middle 80s for us, about 83 in Muncie, and Bloomington coming in at 85 degrees. As we look at your Monday forecast here, we're going to kind of flip it from what we had today. We started off this morning with some cloud cover. Tomorrow, it'll be sunshine in the morning, and that'll get us to 74 by 10 a.m., 80 degrees for the lunch hour. And then as we increase the clouds, we do have the chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm here as we head into the afternoon and evening with those temperatures again in the lower to middle 80s. Not everybody's going to see rain. I would say our chance is only about 20%. This is a look at TrueCast 9:30 tomorrow morning. See the increase in cloud cover. Then as we get into the afternoon hours, about 2 o'clock, we start to see a few more of those showers developing, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder here. Those should move through pretty quickly. Not expecting to see much rainfall out of that. So if you still need to get some of that yard work done, I think you're good not only Monday, but really much of the upcoming week as we are getting into a very quiet weather pattern here, and high temperatures not too bad. 80 degrees here on Tuesday, 82 on Wednesday, even some lows there that'll be in the 50s. 7-day planning forecast shows dry stretch of weather here I think is going to last possibly into the first half of next weekend. It warms up a little bit there as we'll get to 85 on Friday afternoon, 86 for Saturday. And right now, the race day forecast not looking too bad. We will include just an isolated chance for a shower or thunderstorm there with a high temperature of 84 degrees. Right now, let's send it back out to the track day first, and I think he found who he's been looking for.
Yes, Tony Kanaan just climbed out of the car, 2.5-hour practice to wrap up things before Carb Day on Friday. We were just talking about Marco Andretti. What a performance.
An amazing job. Amazing job. It's glad to see him on the pole.
Hard to believe it's been since 1987.
33 years, man. Marco was 3 months old.
Baby, the baby.
He was born in March, and Marty was on the pole in May. So
celebrating his first Indy 500 pole. There are many other storylines to get to. We'll do so next on WRTV Trackside.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV Trackside, streaming now.
WRTV Trackside rolls along. Tony Kanaan, day first live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Just had a 2.5-hour practice. We'll get to that in a moment. But the big story is, of course, Marco Andretti with his first career pole for the Indy 500. I mean, here, you've been around Marco for years. He only had 5 career poles in the IndyCar series. Never really had any much luck here for the 500. But what, in your eyes, for him to go out and do what he did?
I mean, that tells you how bad he wanted, right? Marco's been in a tough seat, in a hot seat for a long time. Since he came here for his first year, he finished second right away, had a chance to win the race, almost won. And the name, right, it's really heavy on his shoulders, right? And then the past couple of years, you can hear people here and there trying to criticize the kid. The kid's a good race car driver, and I think today he proved it. And this is the place to prove it.
Yeah.
And he was always good here. He was always fast, but it never came his way. And finally, he wheeled that thing in today.
Well, I was working on the radio network and saw him as he climbed out of the car, took his helmet off, and his eyes were a little moist.
Yeah, well,
you know, this was an emotional
He's
moment.
been through a lot, and I witnessed that myself, you know, and if you think about it, he's in a team that actually almost every single teammate of his either won the 500 or actually was on the pole for the 500. So I think it was like kind of like my win, Dave. After 12 years, it was well worth it, the wait, and I think that's what he's feeling right now. He's going to get to brag it for a week.
Yeah, he's got bragging rights for a week.
Oh,
There's no question about that. Take a look at Scott Dixon's run, and this was pretty remarkable as well. Dixie with a 4-lap average of 231.051, and I dare say everyone maybe outside
he was my pick.
Everyone else outside of Andretti maybe thought, okay, that's it. Dixon just won the pole.
Especially after all the Andretti cars went out and then couldn't go faster, you know. You know, you had 1, 2, 3, 4 yesterday, and then nobody, even Michael said it in an interview afterwards that he didn't expect Marco to do it, and I think Marco really wheeled that thing in himself.
I mean, he had the foot that he didn't let up at all. And talk about
that's Indy, baby.
Marco Andretti. And then you had a 2.5-hour practice, so Dixon's car gets switched around, all the race setup is put on, and then he goes out. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see this.
I saw that, yeah.
He spins in turn 4, very un-Dixon-like. Can you explain what happened there, what you saw?
Yeah, I think he got a little loose towards the end. The conditions were really tough today. The wind was up to 24 miles an hour. We never had these conditions, and caught him by surprise. But Dixon style spins and
Doesn't hit much.
just a little bit.
Let's hear from Scott Dixon.
Unfortunately, got a little high. You know, I was trying to get some clear air, and then turned into 4. It didn't turn as well as I expected, and kind of pushed up. But then when I hit a bump, there was a bump kind of high on the track, and then just spun the rear around. So extremely lucky. It only kind of just caught the back of the car and then got the front wing. So it just looks like wing damage at the moment. Obviously, some 4 tires would be nice. But yeah, I think we got away with that one pretty lucky.
If anyone is lucky around here, it's Scott Dixon, right?
But I mean, you gotta be good before you gotta be lucky.
That's skill, though, right?
You know, come on. I mean, the guy is the Iceman. I'm a big fan of his.
Some wonderful stories in here too. Rinus VeeKay, rookie, in the lone Chevy in the Fast 9. He's stuck in the second row, and Alex Palou has done a tremendous job as well.
For sure, we have a pretty good group of rookies in the future of IndyCar. They're gonna give us a hard time. I'm kind of glad I'm on my way out.
Not quite yet.
No, yeah.
Real quickly, how was your practice?
It was really good. I love the race car. I think we found a good balance. I mean, there is not much we can do.
Yeah.
Be smart in the race and see what's going to happen.
Countdown is on. A week from today, the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Much work from Tony throughout the course of the week. For now, though, DK, day first, WRTV trackside. And go Pacers!
Go Pacers!
Just a slight chance for an afternoon shower or storm tomorrow. Otherwise, it is a pretty quiet stretch of weather for us. Comfortable, too, with those high temperatures in the lower to middle 80s. And the humidity, Nicole, it should stay in check as well.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tonight at 11. Have a great night.